can't believe it. Oh, welcome to anyone who's joining right now. I just got off of Twitch sharing the entire news. I'll be uploading that video later on today. I'm going to go right now and try to get that file downloaded so that I can post it. But they finally did it. They finally are making the Mass Effect remasters. And not only are they remastering the 3 games, they are also currently working on a new Mass Effect game. I'm in shock. I can't believe it. I'm kind of like freaking out still a little bit. I'm super excited. I do have a little bit of a worried, apprehensive kind of thought process on the things that we've heard right now in the blog post, but I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes and try to let some people get in here. If you guys are in here and you're Mass Effect fans or whatever, let me know in the comments right now. So I know that I'm talking to someone, that I'm talking to people who are almost as excited as I am, or probably more. This is crazy. I mean, we knew it was coming, but it just feels like after so much time that was just, rumors, after years and years and years of rumors and rumors and rumors about it's coming. We never get it. And 7 days come and pass, and we never get the announcement. And finally, in 2020 of all years, we finally get it. We finally get our Mass Effect remasters, and I'm so pumped. I truly am pumped. I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little bit skeptical of what I read in the blog post. There's a chance that it could they could kind of mess it up. I'm not gonna lie. There's a chance. I'm not going to completely buy in on that thought process right now, but for all of you that are out there right now, who are listening, who are watching, I'm gonna read the blog post again to you guys. Again, you can find it on. I will link it actually in the chat really quickly for you all to go if you haven't read it or seen it already. The blog post is right there, but I will be reading it off right now, and it says, "Happy and 7 Day from Casey Hudson, VP Studio GM of BioWare on November 7th, 2020. It's tough keeping a big secret, and we really struggled to keep this one a surprise, but now it's official. Today, we announced the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. We've heard for years your request for a Mass Effect remaster, so we're super happy to finally reveal that we've been working on a remastered edition of the Mass Effect trilogy." The box art, they show you the box art. For many months now, our team at BioWare has been hard at work updating the textures, shaders, models, effects, and technical features of the 3 enormous games. Our goal was not to remake or reimagine the original games, but to modernize the experience so that fans and new players can experience the original work in its best possible form. It's been amazing to see the adventures of Commander Shepard take on new life in super sharp resolution, faster frame rates, and beautiful visual enhancements. As game developers, we always hope that our games will transcend their original platforms. Having the opportunity to remaster the trilogy means that the fruits of the decade of our work will live on and will be experienced better and clearer than ever before. Sorry, I need to take a breath every now and then when I start talking super fast and without taking breaths. Mass Effect Legendary Edition will include single player based content and DLC from Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, plus promo weapons, armors, and packs. All remastered and optimized for 4K Ultra HD. It will be available in spring 2021 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC, with forward compatibility and targeted enhancements on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. More information to come in the new year. Now, here's where we get outside of the Legendary Edition and we get into even bigger news. Meanwhile, Here at BioWare, a veteran team has been hard at work envisioning the next chapter of the Mass Effect universe. We are in early stages of the project and can't say any more just yet, but we're looking forward to sharing our vision for where we'll be going next. For me personally, Mass Effect represents years of work and countless special memories, so every year I feel incredibly fortunate to celebrate N7 Day with players around the world. Thank you so much for supporting us over the years. I can't wait to continue our adventure together, revisiting our favorite memories in the Mass Effect universe and creating brand new ones. Casey. So there you have it. It's all out there for you guys to, take it in, breathe it in like I did. And so, I'm still kind of freaking out. So let me just break down what my thoughts are off the top of my head. So the one thing that I told you guys I'm a little bit apprehensive about is that there's a sentence in here that says our goal was not to remake or reimagine the original games, but to modernize the experience so that fans and new players can experience the original works in the best possible form. So the reason that scares me a little bit is Mass Effect, the original game, is insane. It's huge. It's, it's a game ahead of its time when it came out. It doesn't, it really doesn't look phenomenal. It doesn't look like it would be a game that you would play on the Xbox One or, now what we're going to be having in less than 3 days now is the Xbox Series X. I'm hoping that they do a really big overhaul on that game and they don't just make minor adjustments. I would hope that they, all three of these remasters, they all look the same all the way through. They don't have to have huge overhauls, but they should all look like they are the same kind of remaster. You don't just go remaster one game and make a huge overhaul, and then the other two are just kind of slight touches to what was already there. I mean, Mass Effect 2 could also look a lot better. Mass Effect 3 looked really good. Mass Effect 2 is still, gameplay wise and just in general, the best of the three. So, Mass Effect 2 is what got me into playing RPG games in general. I got Mass Effect 2 before I ever played Mass Effect, the original. And after I played Mass Effect 2, I was like, wow, there's so much here. I was just a little kid when I played that game. And I was like, there was so much here. I need to go back and I need to play Mass Effect, the original. And fell in love with the characters even more, obviously. Played Mass Effect 2 again and understood and, loved things so much more. And Mass Effect 3 comes out and the hype going into that game was so unreal. And, I know it catches a little bit of flack from people around the fan base and everything, but honestly, it was still such a great game. I understand that the endings, upset people, but overall that game was phenomenal. All the DLC that it ended up getting was great. It helped a lot. And I know people are apprehensive about the idea of them adding a new Mass Effect game because of Andromeda and how poorly Andromeda flopped. And not only, Mass Effect, but, Dragon Age. Dragon Age is good. One or Origins, whatever. I think it's just, maybe it's Dragon Age Origins. Yeah. Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Inquisition, all great games in my opinion. But BioWare in general, they just recently failed with the launch of Anthem. They had to do a complete overhaul of that game. And so, I'm super excited about the potential of getting a new Mass Effect game. Whether it's connected to the old ones or if they try to take another stab at trying to do a Mass Effect Andromeda where they kind of get away from the Milky Way story and the soul system and all that. But sorry, I'm talking more than I'm breathing. Sorry. So I need to take a little bit of time to collect my thoughts, but I after all these years and all the rumors of it always potentially coming out, it's finally here. We finally get it. The box art for it looks awesome. They hit on all the characters that like are relatively loved by people. Garrus is like he's almost it's so close to him being more front and center than the actual like Shepard. If it wasn't the entirety of Shepard, like upper body and his helmet, or him and hers helmet, Garrus is almost right up front and center, which is so awesome. Obviously, I got a little bit of a soft spot for my dude Garrus, but what's it called? Garrus is there, Liara's there, Tally's there, Morden's there, Miranda's there, Rex is there, Thane is there. That's so cool. And the Normandy with the Citadel, it's so good. And the parrot, I love how they, split it in half a little bit with the Paragon on one side and the Renegade on the other side, which is, a huge facet of those games. And so that's incredible. And then the other, art piece that they included here with, man, I'm going to try to zoom in on that, but like that ship is going to get so much. People are going to talk so much about this. So that looks like a Solarian. That kind of looks like Morden, Thane, a bigger, I don't know what those other two are, but God, the idea of getting a new Mass Effect game is so incredible. It's so like, I want to get this remaster, and thank goodness it's coming out in the spring of 2021. I'm glad that they didn't put a actual date, just because of how delays have been working in the gaming industry currently. And so, it gives them as much time as they need to work on that game, work on that remaster. And so I hope we get to see, maybe just like we did get it. There is a teaser trailer on BioWare's Twitter page right now, but what's it called? It's really just kind of incredible that they put all this out there and they didn't put a set in stone kind of date, which obviously it'll upset some people, but not me. Again, I would like them to take. For those of you who are in here and who do not know, by the way, thank you. There's 21 of you in here. I really do appreciate you all being here. If you could leave a like, subscribe, even comment in the channel. I mean, you guys are here for a reason. You guys are watching this video because there's Mass Effect news, and that's what we're talking about. I would love to hear your opinions. I would love to hear what you guys thought, what you guys are thinking. But honestly, for them to show us a little bit of the box art, show us a teaser, and just kind of play on our hype, it's incredible. And so it's just hard to crack rockets. Happy N7 Day. Happy N7 Day to you too. Joseph Cox, how do I sleep until spring 2021? I know, man. I know. I mean, you gotta bide your time with something, with some other stuff. Luckily for me, I'm a multi gamer streamer, so game streamer. So like in 3 days there will be a new next gen console with the Xbox Series X, and I'll be playing some Assassin's Creed with that. So that'll help me get past that. Jack Keck, they really went out of their way to not show any white males in this teaser. Rip male Shepard. I guess his face must be retired. What a pathetic comment for a white male. Let's calm down, people. Listen, no one really plays Mass Effect for the humans in that game. If we're being completely honest, the aliens are so cool. I wish we could get Dragon Age Mass Effect. That's what the next that's what I needed to talk about. This next Mass Effect game has to be Dragon Age-like. They have to allow you to be a different species in this next Mass Effect game. They have to, right? Like, they have to. If they want to hit on that game, if they want to promote that game and like try to make it such a if they want to like a selling point immediately a selling point is like, be a Turian, be an Asari, be a Solarian, be some different species other than a human. Sure, you can be a human if you want, but like imagine being able to actually finally play as a different species like you do in Dragon Age, where you can be a human, you can be an elf, you can be a dwarf, you can be a Quinari. I mean, it's just insane. It's just like I they gotta bounce back from Andromeda. And Andromeda, they had a little bit of like a gameplay overhaul, which it was okay, but still, I mean, there needs to be more of a like selling point than gameplay overhaul. Obviously, that'll be a huge point, but Mass Effect, the reason why it's so successful and the reason why people love it so much is because it's an RPG. You get to make decisions, you get to, have dialogue. And it would be so cool if you could have those type of dialogues like in Dragon Age, where if you're an elf, you get to talk to elves with a specific dialogue, or you can read specific text and stuff like that. Imagine like having a Turian dialogue or an Asari dialogue or whatever it is, whatever species it is, and kind of just like having some really unique dialogue choices to play off of. I'm like exploding right now with all my thoughts, dude. Could you imagine potentially like making a Garrus in a Mass Effect game, like trying to? I'm gonna pull this out to show you guys, but ooh, like, look at that thing. Is that not? Oh, he's so cool. I love Garrus, dude. It's the greatest side. He's easily the greatest side character in all of Mass Effect. I'm like, oh my goodness, I just want to play as a Turian. Like, low-key, I really just want to play as a Turian. I honestly think they're so cool. But Crack Rockets, bad press ruined Andromeda. It wasn't as bad as they said. It's not the same as the OG Shepard and the squad mates, but it was good to have another approach to the saga. I agree with you. The only problem with that, though, is at launch, the game wasn't very good in terms of it being the next generation of Mass Effect games. What it was supposed to be, you could tell immediately that they had a lot of stuff planned for Andromeda. They had the arc situations with the Quarians and other species and such, and it got canceled because of how badly people, thought about it. And although I like the story, and I don't know that the story is what was wrong with that game. I think it was the graphics. I think it was a little bit of the gameplay and other such scenarios. Like the side quests were really not that great. The side quests really didn't do anything or have a lot of emotions. And that's why I think it got a lot of bad rep, because it wasn't like a typical Mass Effect game. It wasn't like, and it's hard to come off of the backs of Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3. It was a good game. Over time, it got better and better and better with updates and, patches and such. But ultimately, that game, I replayed it, like, I want to say I played it in the last year or so, and I did enjoy it, but it still had its flaws. It still had a lot of problems that, it's not like it's a game breaker, but out of all the 4 Mass Effect games that have come out, it's number 4. I mean, it is what it is. I thought the crewmates, and I kind of liked the Tempest. The Tempest was kind of a cool ship, a little bit rigid for my liking. I'm a personal fan of the SR1 Normandy, because of how it was able to, expand and kind of come in a little bit. But, Andromeda, it got a little bit too much of a bad rep. I'll give it that. But it is what it is. So the Nomad was better than the Mako. The Mako. Yeah. Yes and no. Honestly, I didn't like having to switch the the tractions. I wasn't a huge fan of all that. Honestly, being able to just go wherever with the Mako in Mass Effect 1 was something I'll never get over. I love the traversal in Mass Effect 1, as broken as it might have been, but we didn't even get that in Mass Effect 3, which was like a huge bummer. They switched that out for the one part with when you're on what is Tally's homeworld. Oh goodness! Now I'm gonna get Ronark or Ranark. Yeah. They switched it out for that one scene where you get on the turret and you're shooting, and I don't know. I miss not being able to drive something in Mass Effect 1 or Mass Effect 3. Um, just thinking about going forward though, past the remasters for this new game. Let's move on to talking about the new game, honestly. Because I have so many thoughts on that. Like so many thoughts that in my head I feel like are just like must-haves. So first of all, you have to be able to allow the player to pick what species it wants to be. So if you want to be a Turian, an Asari, a Krogan, Solarian, you probably won't get more than those choices. If I'm being honest, you might not even get like Krogan. You might, because Quinari was kind of one of those races that was kind of out there. But being able to select your character as a different species other than human is kind of a big selling point to me. Another one is the vehicle play. If they have, my thing is the coolest thing about Mass Effect 2 was the tie-in to upgrading the ship in order to get past the Omega 4 relay stuff and get past the collector ships and everything. And I was like, man, this is such a cool thing. I hope they continue to do something like this into Mass Effect 3. And they didn't really do that. They kind of just transferred all that like really cool intuitive stuff from Mass Effect 2 and kind of just put it into, okay, you need to get resources for the final battle, like get all these ships. And yeah, it was cool to see all those things happen, but like those were things you knew that you needed to go out and get. Whereas, if you play through Mass Effect 2 the first time, you're like, well, why would I spend money on this? Why would I spend money on that? Like to upgrade the shields, to upgrade the hull, upgrade the blasters. But I'm getting a little bit sidetracked. My second selling point is there's got to be some sort of vehicle gameplay, whether it's on the ground or in space. I think if you can find a way to get space combat in a Mass Effect game, you will. I'm just thinking from like a promotional / selling standpoint. If you are able to give them character choice, give them vehicle gameplay, and give them like it's like 2A and 2B, give them space combat with like being able to fly a ship or something to that standard, insane. It would just, those two things would have me buy the highest edition possible just off of that. I mean, I would buy a collector's edition just knowing that those two things are in there without knowing what else I get with the game. I just buy the legendary edition just knowing I'm going to have such a fantastic time in that game. But it's insane, honestly. Let me check Twitter and the rest of doesn't look. I'm going to type in Mass Effect and see what happens in the what's up with so Mass Effect now has it up on their Twitter. What about the search page on Twitter? What are your guys' thoughts? There's a lot of you in here. What are you guys thinking? Cracked Rockets. Thank you again, Cracked Rockets, for being talkative and actually going back and forth with me. Do you think it's going to be a prequel or a sequel related to the original games or set? I'm gonna guess you're saying or set out of the Milky Way, right? You're not. You could you just clarify what your last sentence is, just so I make sure. Um, yeah, so out of the Milky Way. So for me, if they do a prequel really doesn't make me want to buy the game, because we already know so much about what happened with the prequels that they'd probably want you to play as. They'd have like, I feel like it would really limit what they could do. The idea of it being a sequel, that's hard to connect it to the original games. I thought Andromeda had such a good chance of being such a phenomenal game because it wasn't connected to. It was slightly, in the slightest way, connected to the original game, in the sense that, all right, they're leaving the Milky Way to go to a different galaxy, and their adventures in that galaxy are separate from the Milky Way. So if I'm being honest, if I'm BioWare, I understand that there was a failure in Andromeda. It wasn't because of their storytelling. It was kind of the side stuff and the graphics. Now, if they take their time with it, they're going to release Dragon Age 4. We're going to get Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and then we're going to get Dragon Age 4. Whatever they're going to call Dragon Age 4, because they called it Inquisition last time. But they're gonna have to take their time with whatever this next game is. Make sure it should just be a next gen game. If I'm being honest, make it a next gen game. Have no reason to have flack for it being a game that looks like it should have been on the last generation. It should mind-blowing graphics for a game in outer space is what's going to do it for me. I think of Cyberpunk and how good that looks. I'm like, man, could you take that level of that game, like how it looks and everything, and incorporate it into like space? That's just a crazy thought to me. Is like, wow, like could we get that? Could we get these types of games for the next decade? Because I mean, we're getting right now. We're a month and 3 days away from getting a game that I consider to be the first real next generation game, even though it will play on Xbox Ones and PlayStation 4s. But the scope of a new Mass Effect game, sorry, Rockets. I really kind of got away from my point there. But to answer your question, I think it's going to be a game outside of the Milky Way. I think that I say that too, but I'm also like just thinking, all right, if they take it outside the Milky Way, are they going to be able to have humans, Turians, Asari, Krogan, Solarians, all these species that we already know? And that's something that's hard to think about. That's something that, it really pigeonholes my idea for, a sequel. A sequel could work if they put it so far out of the like Commander Shepard era that it really doesn't have too much of an effect. Obviously, they'd have callbacks and such, but we shouldn't be able to. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's so. I have so many thoughts. I'm like so scatterbrained, and it's hard to collect all of them and be like, yeah, this is the right way to go. I don't personally know it. That's why I would really love to be able to sit in on a meeting of the minds in BioWare and see how they come up with because obviously they have a direction that they're going already. They have an experienced team already working on this, so they must have an idea of what they want to do. They could totally do what Gears of War did, and essentially, they could put it as a sequel to Mass Effect 3, and the thing is the scope of and I think this is where Andromeda also caught flack, is that they try to copy they try to copy the story in the sense of the severity of the threat that they faced initially. It's like you went from facing the Reapers, the greatest threat known to the galaxy, to whatever the enemy, whatever I know it's the Architect is what the big guy's name is, but I forget what the enemies are in Andromeda. It was something with like a K, I think. Wasn't like, I don't know, but I said the Architect, the Archon, yeah. But what's the species? What are they called? They're like mutated though. The cat. Yep. So my problem with Andromeda is that they try to like almost play off as if the cat and the Archon are almost as big as, not like they like pushed it like that, but it almost felt like they were trying to make it seem like they were like the Reapers, in the sense that they were trying to destroy the entire galaxy and trying to in their own way do indoctrinations, which was they were mutating species of different kinds to become more Ket. But this next Mass Effect game, it's going to kind of be like, all right, the narrative is going to be tied to what they try to do with what the main villain is. So is the main villain something like the Reapers or the Ket, where it's like one big thing that you gotta like, you spend the entire game, trying to fight an insurmountable odd against a bigger threat? Or could you kind of go a smaller route and kind of build a narrative around this next game, where maybe you do something unique, where maybe you're like bounty hunters, like, stay with me for like a minute. So maybe they do something like Star Wars-esque, where instead now there's kind of peace in the galaxy, in the Milky Way. And so, there's still the occasional like turf wars and still trying to figure out things essentially, but there's more like freelancing kind of bounty hunting type threats. And I don't know, it's just, I'm sorry, I'm like, I just have so many thoughts that like, some of them are good, some of them are bad. I don't know. Rockets, what do you think? What would you prefer? What would you prefer the next game to be? Do you think the Leviathans will show as an enemy? We only see him once in a DLC for Mass Effect 3, but it can be a bigger enemy for the galaxy. The way they work the Leviathans in Mass Effect 3, because they essentially turned them into allies. I mean, they turned them into the Galaxy at War assets. The thing is, that's kind of just, that feels like a copy and paste type move if they did that. So I would say no. I don't think that they would reappear as enemies. As an enemy, I guess. I understand that there's like a lore there about, how long have, they essentially created, or they didn't essentially create the Reapers, but, well, did they? I get it so twisted because of the ending, and that storyline, but I don't know. I think it's too similar. I mean, they're essentially organic versions of the Reapers, in a way. I don't know. I don't know. Rockets, what would you prefer? What would you prefer for a new game? Would you prefer that it's a prequel, a sequel, or not related to the original game at all and kind of take place in a different galaxy? What if they hit us with a complete curveball and they're just like, none of the species that you know and love are in this next game? I think that would probably be a bad idea, in all honesty, just because you want to be able to have selling points and be like, hey, these are species that you remember with other new species. You know what could be a cool idea is this. Now this is something that I think is a good idea. Have a sequel of the Mass Effect trilogy game take place a couple whatever many years later, and have a essentially have like a Mass Effect Andromeda type situation where the Milky Way galaxy is at peace, but species from another galaxy like essentially flee from whatever is happening in their galaxy. And there's, 5 or 10, whatever. There's a bunch of new races. They're trying to look for a new home or whatever. And they come over and they bring with them whatever their threat is, along with, the issue of trying to figure out where these species are coming from, what's going on and everything. That could be an idea. I don't know. There's just a lot of good stuff to go with. And it's space. I mean, it's sci-fi space. You could do anything. There's so much to do. It's not like you're limited to like going in the past and doing an Assassin's Creed game or like a medieval game or stuff like that. So I don't know. Honestly, it would be super interesting to hear. I don't know when we would hear about it, because let's think. The past 2 years at the Game Awards. No, maybe it was 2 years ago. They teased the next Dragon Age game. So maybe at the Game Awards this year, we'll probably get a look at the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Probably like a trailer or something. I don't know when we would get to hear or see about this next game. I don't think we get to hear or see about it for a long, long time. I would prefer a sequel with related characters to have a connection with them, just to avoid starting again like Andromeda, because the characters shown there didn't stick with me. Yeah. Honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of the characters in Andromeda, like the crew members. I think I was a fan of Vetra. It might only have been of Vetra, because I didn't like PB. I didn't like Cora. Cora was. Liam was. I thought Liam could have been a lot better. I forget the Krogan's name. Drax? Was it Drax? I think it's Drax. He's just kind of like he's like an older version of Drac. Yeah, he's just like an older version of Rex, I think. So thought that was just kind of like a copy and paste. Jaw was okay. Jaw was, they had to, they did what, they should have done. And that was, try to introduce a new species, which they were all right. I mean, again, I agree with you. I think a sequel to the original trilogy would be good. My thing is, you just can't get too caught up in callbacks. I think the one thing that Gears of War has done really well is manage their callbacks in certain ways. Granted, Marcus Phoenix is such a solo character in his own way that to bring him in as a side character has been such a great thing for Gears of War fans, I think, because it helps ease you into the transition of, okay, we're no longer going to be following his story as a direct thing, but he's here as a side character that gives a lot of depth and a lot of, relatability because we know him. So obviously, I mean, I would want Garrus to come back, but again, I also kind of want it far enough away where he can't be a crew member, because I wouldn't feel okay about that. I don't want any of those characters to be crew members. I'd like them to be like ambassadors, or I don't know, because we all know that Asari lived forever, so we'd probably see Liara. But see, all that would mean, you know what that would mean, is that we would have to have another one of those situations where you have a save transfer over, and your decisions in Mass Effect 3 would have to carry over, which I just don't know that they would do that. You know what I'm saying? It would have to be so far away. The sequel would have to be so far away from the Mass Effect trilogy that none of those characters are actually there anymore. Because I think Liara is the only character outside of EDI that cannot die throughout the entirety of all the Mass Effect games, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true. They would have to mention Shepard because of what you did on Mass Effect 3, maybe on a tribute homage or something. Yeah, they'd probably just do that, and but instead of it just being Shepard, it'd be like the entire crew of the Normandy. But yeah, there's problems and there's ideas and there's so much to do. There's so much to really think about with this game and to get into. And I can't believe so for those of you that are new to the channel and everything, again, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for liking, for subscribing. All of that means a lot to me. But for all of you that are new here, me and my best friend Adam just did a podcast yesterday where we were talking about, what are they going to announce tomorrow? We knew that we were going to get the remaster. We knew that. It was almost cut and dry. It's gonna happen. But we were like, is there a chance that we get an announcement about a new game? And I was like, there's just at first I was like, there's no way. You can't, they have so much going right now. They have to do, they have to re-release Anthem, and then they are going to do Dragon Age 4, and then these remasters. And that's a lot of that. I mean, that's a lot of work for three different games. That's a lot of work. And essentially that's 5 different games, right? Yeah, that's 5 different games because of, 1, 2, and 3 all needing to be touched up and everything. But to get that news is just so insane and so incredibly mind-boggling. I'm going to go back to Twitter right now and see what I can see. So it doesn't look like doesn't look like there's any more news from what I can gather. Coming spring 2021, the new game. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything more. God, there's just so much love, though. There's so much love for this franchise and these characters. It's incredible. When is there's supposed to be a Q&A or a panel of the characters getting together at some point. Uh, da, 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 da. There's also a lot going on in the world right now. If I can just drop a statement, I think I'm probably going to end it right here, because there's just no more news, and we've been going for 45 minutes, which, again, thank you all so much for being here. I do appreciate it. But, just got a new state or comment. People are probably going to hate me for saying this, but any thoughts on maybe a Division 2 style Mass Effect game? So like sorry, I didn't play the Division 2. I didn't really like Division 1. So are you kind of talking about like a Destiny type game where it's kind of like a live service game? I just want to like make sure that I'm understanding what you're asking. Like an MMO RPG. Yeah, I think that's kind of like that. I prefer a single player RPG. I don't think there's like no one's gonna hate you. No one's gonna give you hate for that. It's an idea. Honestly, it's an idea with a game that you know it could be in the shop for what's an idea that would potentially appeal to a lot of people. Obviously, Mass Effect is a single player game franchise, but they could branch out. It's not like a crazy idea. Hope EA doesn't rush BioWare. I agree. Listen, if there is one thing, listen, people. Can you see my chair? Can you see this chair? Listen here. Cyberpunk, this game. If I can tell you guys anything, this game is the one that I have been waiting for the last like 3 years. And they've delayed it 4 times. I don't care. Polish the game as much as you need to and do whatever you have to in order to make the best version, the best, as game developers, I'm sure every single person goes into work and goes, we have a vision. We have a vision for what we want this game to be, what it looks like, how it plays, how it feels, everything. And it's just we want to accomplish that vision. And EA, no one should push us to do anything differently, and we should have as much time as we feel we need and just go from there. Same here. Before Keanu showed up, it was already a bang. Yo, you cannot tell me, and I'm gonna have to end it after this. But Correct Rockets, thank you so much for being here. You've been the best part about this stream so far. You cannot tell me Keanu coming out at E3 when they played that trailer and he comes up and takes his sunglasses off and goes, "Wake the fuck up, samurai. We got a city to burn." You can't tell me that when after that and he comes out, yo, my mind was blown. Could you imagine if like they got someone huge, like some like super lovable, what's it called, like actor to be like in a Mass Effect game? Who's the most like Mass Effect-esque person? Like who could you envision being in a Mass Effect game? Obviously they'd have to be a human, but like who would be like a character? I don't know. But again, my end all point here is take as much time as you need, BioWare. Make this next Mass Effect game the biggest thing that you got. Oh, you already know there's Cyberpunk hype. Listen, I'm gonna try to be better. That's my work school, my schedule's really messed up. It has been really messed up, but with this next generation of consoles coming out on Tuesday, and a lot of games are coming out now, I'm gonna try to be a lot better about pushing out content and such. But you all know I'm beyond hyped for this game. Obviously, you can tell I got so much invested into this game that I'm already committed to December 10th. When December 10th rolls around and Cyberpunk is in my hands, the next 3 to 4 months, I will just be streaming and making nonstop videos of Cyberpunk. That's all it's going to be. That's all it's going to be until Mass Effect Legendary Edition comes out. So, but with all that being said, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for your likes, for your subscribes. I really did enjoy talking to you guys today, and I promise that today's Saturday. I usually take the weekends off, but today was a special occasion, so I'm going to sign off. But starting this upcoming week, I'm going to make a schedule, and I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to produce content for all of you. I hope you all will think of coming back and joining me. I really do love live streaming. Being able to talk to you guys is amazing, and it's fantastic. So it's very nice chatting with you, man. Stay safe out there, and thanks for the stream. Super hyped for today. Thank you so much, Rockets. I appreciate you for being here and contributing so much, and to the rest of you. Also, like I said, the world, I don't know where you guys are living right now. If you're in the United States, times are crazy right now. Just be good to people. Be decent human beings is all that really matters. Be loving, caring humans, and that's all. Just be good people. It's not hard to be good. It really isn't. So with that being said, thank you all. And I'll catch you later. Peace.